Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to I'll Go Do tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Sman, and this is my show now.
Indeed. For this one episode, Sman gets to bring us in because it is his birthday, and he is one of the most dedicated MSW fans that we know so far. He has been here from the beginning. He just is every time in the live chat with us, or most of the times, but who's counting? And just always there, gives me a trivia question every episode when I fail to prepare one. So he is a very special part of the MSW community, and so we wanted to let him bring us in with the infamous intro here. And he did a great job.
Infamous intro.
Anyways, I'm Commander Wolf.
Oh yeah, we
I'm
got to do
Wolves.
that thing. I'm Marble Guy, I'm Brendan, he's Wolves.
You know us already.
You all know at this point.
Yes, I didn't expect that to happen. That is not how I thought that was gonna go.
But
It's not supposed to be scheduled.
Dude, I had
I don't
that
know,
do
plan
whatever.
since this morning. I had that plan since this morning, and I was gonna.
It's a big day,
I was
dude.
gonna send it to Johnny Marble right after, but I was like, nah, I won't do that.
I'ma wing it.
Anyways, if you are new to the show because you made your way over here after the recent influx of Marble Sports fans with the whole JMR viral situation, this is the MSW podcast. And if you're curious about how the episodes are normally laid out, we do the intro first, which is just a random few minutes of what you've just been hearing. And sometimes I'll complain about something. And then we have an awesome news segment with our favorite news host, Johnny Marble, who gives us the news of the Marble Sports community, not just JMR, but all the Marble Sports events going on that are worth noting of the week. And then we jump into our regular episode, which normally has a guest or our half host, both of which we have today for S-Man's birthday. So I hope if you're new, you stick around and enjoy the MSW podcast, because this is going to be a fun one. Let's go to the news. Sorry, that's what I wanted to end with, but I didn't
Go
do
to
that,
Johnny.
so that was stupid. Let's go to the news now. Bye.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble, and as always, I am bringing you that Marble news that you crave for MSW. So race 6 of Marbula 1, the Short Circuit Grand Prix, has concluded, and it was an incredible race. The position changes throughout the entire race were exciting to watch, and it made this race the most unpredictable yet. Snowy from the Snowballs and Shock from Thunderbolts both started in the middle of the pack, yet somehow in some way, they managed to fight their way to the tippity top. It was an intense battle to watch, but in the end, Snowy somehow snowballed their way into first, followed by Shock taking second, and Speedy from the Savage Speeders in third. Shock's second place finish is particularly important because it shows that the host curse that fans have been fearing for so long is nothing more than a myth. Unfortunately, though, Sublime from the Limers had a very terrible race, as they received the very first did not finish of the season, getting stuck in the back of the first sector on the final lap. It's incredibly disappointing to see, but we hope that the Limers will be able to bounce back and not let this failure hold them back for much longer. In other news, Race 7 of the Marble Circuits, the Silverstone Grand Prix, has concluded with even more surprising results. Sea Turtles, the competitor favored to win it all by the fans, had their worst race of the season, finishing in 11th place. And while they still hold the title and first overall, the gap has now started to shrink a little bit. And to top it all off, 3 marbles that had been near the bottom of the overall standings at the start of the race were the ones to take the podium. And those marbles are the following: Gold Piston in first, Mamonas in second, and Aerofrog in third. These competitors are really giving it all, and it's hard not to admire their dedication. Well, hey guys, I've been Johnny Marble. You've been great. That's been the news. Let's take it back and continue on with the podcast. Thanks for listening.
All right, guys, welcome back from the news. Thank you, Johnny Marble, for another exciting news segment. If you are currently listening to the show on the YouTube and wondering why I'm starting the show welcoming us back from the news, that's because the real episode has an extra news recording before the bulk of the show done by our favorite news host, Johnny Marble. So be sure to check out the beginning of the real recording that comes out in a few days so you can hear the news. Anyways, guys, a very exciting week in Marble Sports. JMR has exploded in subscribers, in attention. I mean, they've been on the news, they've been on TV. They reran the Ocho thing from the summer for ESPN. I believe it was last night, and so it's just going great for them. They have jumped close to 100,000 subscribers in the past week, and just they've been all over, viral on Twitter, called a million times asking for interviews, sponsors calling them. It's just a great time for JMR in Marble Sports. And now we get to talk about them. So the recent race, Marbula won the short circuit, a very exciting race. I think for me, that race was just the final nail in the coffin that the host curse, at least in Marbula 1, does not exist.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. Bolt's performance was fantastic, and it wasn't until actually after the race that I was talking with some of the people in the Marble base that I realized that short circuit, like like an electrical circuit short circuiting, and it's the Thunderbolts, they were the host. I didn't realize I didn't realize the entire time. It was very...
Not gonna lie, I saw it and I was like, oh, is this supposed to be like some neutral track, like there's no like team like associated with it? And then like I was talking to somebody on Discord that we were just talking about it, and they're like, I can't believe the Thunderbolts got to host, it was so cool. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, the short circuit, it's like a circuit like that's short, like what Waff was talking about. I'm like, oh my god, light bulb. My mind was blown.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, that means the host curse didn't do anything, which was very great to hear, because that now any hosts don't have to worry about it
before too long.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite track name, but or at least one of them. But like I didn't know what it was. Now I know it's my favorite now, or sorry, it's one of my favorites now because
it's very clever.
I get the joke now.
Yeah, same.
It's a weird name, I guess. I don't see who is the host here, but okay.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a little bit of a leap to get there, because short circuit, Thunderbolts, they're both things that have to do with electricity, but it's not like, if there's a team named like the Electrics or something like that, then it would be like much more easy, but you had to make a little bit of a leap there. It took me a little bit too. I saw a short circuit, I was like, oh cool, and I was like, oh my god, who's the host though? Maybe the Limers, because they always come up short. Sorry, Simon, I love the Limers. No, I'm sorry guys. I got it eventually. But yeah, and yeah, second place for Shock too. That was a big deal, because it really showed that at least in some respect, not all teams are affected by this host curse that people keep speaking of. I just feel that it makes more sense though, because in Marbula 1, you're not hosting 16 events in this huge stadium. You're only hosting like one race, so it's not as much pressure as like the Oceanics faced, or other teams who have hosted Marble League have faced, or Olympics, who who had to host 16 events in this crazy big stadium for like 3 months. I mean, I feel like it makes sense that there's no host curse, right? Because it's just not not the same amount of pressure, not the same amount of time,
Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry. I'll let my our other guests and hosts talk for a little bit.
Well,
Wow, Waff, what a comment. But yeah, I think the best thing to talk about here.
Wait,
Dude, oh my God, Brendan.
I offered it up to our
Yes,
other
and then there was
hosts, and
silence, Waff, so I had to kind of.
Brendan's
I
just
was
like,
getting
oh,
it,
okay, you're gonna
alright?
do something nice. Well, never mind. Let me. I want to keep talking. Like, oh, come
I
on.
don't
dude.
Oh, gee, Josh. Anyways, but I think we should start with some sort of question to kind of get us all involved here, because I think we have 4 people on today. We're a little afraid to be talking over each
Yeah.
other. Got to just jump right into it. I gotta say, what do you guys think? What were your predictions going into Marbula 1 for this race, for this particular race, and like how did they affect? Were you surprised? Did it work out? Because for me, I predicted the Hornets, and I was completely wrong.
well, okay.
All
Here's
right,
mine.
the Hornets.
The entire race, the main team I was watching was Team Galactic, and they were all over the place. There was a time where they were
just
in
like
like
jump
second.
standings all the time.
oh yeah,
They were like
all
second,
over the place.
and then by the end of that lap, they were back to like 10th. It was
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Team
Wait, where did
Galactic
they
made their
start,
fans feel suspense the entire time. I would not want to be
Where
that
did they start
person.
as far as the
To just
qualifiers
feel
are
like,
concerned?
oh my God, it's in second place. Oh my God, now it's in 10th, and just
That's bad.
moving back before
What?
emotions.
Oh, in 10th? Oh, wow. So they started, you're saying they started in 10th, they went up to 2nd, and then lost it and went all the way back to 10th.
oh no, they went back to 11th in the end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a jump. But then again, I was kind of talking about that a little bit on the Twitter. I posted a couple tweets that I felt a short circuit was going to be one of those courses where that would happen. Because if you look at the design of the circuit, you have this huge straightaway. It's by far the longest straightaway so far in Marbula 1. And that kind of straightaway gives room for so many overtakes because of, you know, if you're in first, right? Let's say you're in first, you know, which means you're definitely not Team Momo. Sorry. If you're in first and you go into that straightaway slowly, like you go around that hairpin before, and you whip around it, but you're not going very fast, a marble all the way back in 6th or even 8th, if they approach that hairpin before quickly, you know, and then are going through the straightaway much faster, they have a chance of overtaking first place just because it's such a long straight that it really is based on the speed you have going into it. Very long time for that speed to kind of, you know, either pull you back, like, you know, you lose places, or you could catch up to full 5 different places because if the marbles in front of you were going quite slow. So that's why there were so many overtakes and there was such a change in placements because marbles even up as far as second place would just have a difficult lap, you know, and go through that full straightaway, probably about 4 or 5 meters, very enter it very slowly, and then it would end up hurting them a lot because marbles in the back behind them who are approaching it much quicker, because we know that marbles, even if they're in a lower place, doesn't mean they're going slower. They have a chance to overtake a long time, a full 5 meters of track to make the overtake. So I think that's why Pulsar had that difficulty.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things that definitely happened was the pit lane made a huge difference. Like, if Team Momo was doing really well, like, and they've been doing so well these past 2 races too, and like I think they made it all the way up to 2nd or 3rd. I think it was actually 2nd place, but then the pit lane, just similar to how in in Greenstone, like where they hit the attenuator, in this one they made it into the pit lane. But then, and that cost them several places. That happened like twice for them. I think actually it was 3 times. It might have been.
Yeah, 3 times.
If I'm not mistaken.
What
Yeah,
is
it was
an
3 times.
attenuator?
It's the thing. Sorry.
It's like the divider that
Greg-
you can separate
yeah.
into like the main track to like the sidelines.
Thank
Oh.
you, Wills, for
Oh
helping
yeah,
me with my
because
words.
I know
was
Greg
kinda
Wood said that. I was
stuttering
always confused.
For a sec,
I
I,
feel
was like, I don't even know what attenuator is. I'm gonna just guess.
Well, Greg calls it an attenuator all the time, so it's a divider between 2 different lanes. I think is what it is. It
Yeah,
might be a
I
word
see.
he made up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it is an actual word. I guess I can look it up.
I
You
guess.
want to look
if
it up
you
right
can
now?
Spell it. I don't know if I can spell that.
Sure, I'll look it up.
Should we do a spelling challenge? I think we should do a spelling challenge.
Nah.
Spelling challenge.
Let's bring that back from episode 32 or something. That was weird.
A device consisting of an arrangement of resistors which reduces the strength of a. Wait, that's radio. Okay, that's not gonna. Yeah, that's only. Wait, what the heck? It's only radio. Is there?
Did you say an
different
antenna or an attenuator?
Attenuator. I looked it up.
Okay.
Apparently, it's a. See, I think Greg is just speaking out his butt for that one.
Dude, yeah, to be honest, I think he often
I love the word. I love
says
the word. It's great.
words that don't
It sounds
at all
smart.
apply to what he's talking about, but he does it so confidently that you're like, oh yeah, of course, the attenuator. I mean, come on, it's of course, right? I mean, how
He's gonna make
how
the
could I have
attenuator
not?
Oh wait,
popular word.
no! I found it. An
It's such a
impact
big word
attenuator
that people
used on
don't know what it
highways
means.
as a crumple zone in case of a car crash.
Ah, there it
Okay,
is.
okay.
I was like, come
what
on,
would that
Greg,
even
don't
look
just
like?
say random stuff and then just have the underlings below you just believe it. I'm glad it has an actual meaning, so now we don't look stupid as well.
Yeah.
Imagine if
Yeah,
WAP
he's
just
making up
never
words. He's
caught
like,
that.
oh, that's just Marvel sports lingo.
For the entire time we're just
No,
talking
but-
about I can't believe attenuate is not a real word, and Greg Woods is saying it, and then WAF's 20 minutes later, oh wait, it is a real word. Huh. That would just
I
suck.
apologize. You were not talking out of your butt, Greg.
Chris. Oh my
Yeah, but
god.
I agree. The pit lane did mess with a lot of placements, but it certainly made the race more exciting. I know it was caused the back and forths between the snowballs rapidly and Shock, who were all kind of in the top there for a while, and it was almost like deja vu every other race, right? You'd have one lap, rapidly would take the pit lane, snowballs would gain the lead. Next lap, snowballs would take the pit lane, rapidly would gain the lead. And it was kind of just that back and forth. And that pit lane, compared to the last few tracks, was very, very easy to enter. A lot of marbles were entering that pit lane. You had some pit lanes in Greenstone and also in... the Greenstone one was kind of easy to enter, but the one beforehand... The track where the Midnight Wisp fell off, I think it was Mo Motorway or O Raceway. That one was hard to enter. Barely any marbles entered that one. So it depends on the track, but it definitely this time the pit lane messed with the races.
Yeah,
and
anytime that a marble would go in there, they lost all their momentum.
But yes, because you have that narrow space, and you kind of get pushed in on both sides by the attenuator and the wall of the track. So you kind of, because marbles don't always move straight, just because the way the gravity is on the track. I mean, it would be very difficult to make it exactly so that the track is only vertically tilted. It's going to be horizontally tilted a tiny bit. So marbles just follow gravity. They're going to be moving to either side of the track in some slight way always, even if there were no marbles to impede. So when you reach that pit lane, yeah, they're gonna because it's such a short distance between the two walls, you're just gonna keep bouncing back and forth. Hence why they go so slow.
Yeah, and this is something I want to bring up that I actually want to hear an opinion from everybody here. So there was a lot, especially in this race, and I think and as well as in marble circuits with the most recent race in Silverstone, there's been a lot of a debate about what should be included. Should there be obstacles or something like that? So in marble circuits, race 7, for instance, they had the fidget spinner, and it really messed with the leads and stuff. And with Marbula 1, it's the pit lane, and while I will admit that it does make things a bit more interesting in that the lead and everything can change in an instant just by one minor mistake, it feels like, and this applies to a lot of people apparently, based on what I've seen in the community, that they think it's not fair, and that it's just kind of it's something that's out of the role play. It's beyond their control, and so even though they were winning and they got there by their own skill, some random thing that they were incapable of avoiding just kind of messes it all up. And I see both sides, and I'm not sure how I feel about it really.
Well, to me,
I
you
wanna
can
know,
see it
what
at
do you all
both
think
sides.
about it?
Well, to me, you can see it at both sides because, like, I think Marbula 1 is trying to hold to like a more realistic kind of tone. I know that they had like the ground track and for the when the Hornets hosted, they had like that all those hexagons that would like ruin the speed, and they would have that one speed boost. They would add some of those sometimes. It's more of like a general subject that like is really close and compact to like realism. But when you go to like Fubeca's marble runs, yeah, they had the rotator, and they have like not tunnels, but they have all different kinds of things that can mess up the marbles, and it will come down to luck. But to me, that's not too big of a problem because most of the races do come down to luck. I do think that the positions, like where marbles start off, will have an impact on where they end up. But sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, like if you're able to get through this or if you're not. Because Momonas was able to get through it almost every time flawlessly, while other marbles didn't have as much luck. It just depends on if you want to hold a more realistic tone or like a more fantasy, like a traditional marble run, which makes it more fun and more interesting. But both sides can have a good answer.
Yeah, it's true. First things first, before I raspberry race and way to my response. Sorry. Waff, I know Waff, but the pun's then. The one thing we need to do is fix whatever it is that makes your mic crackle in Discord, because
it's just internet. It's just his internet. Like, and as far as I can tell, it's just his internet, and it can't be fixed like unless he gets out of where he lives, I guess.
What do you mean?
I don't know, man. For people who are listening to this recording, this will makes no sense because, well, it's going to come clear and crisp through the actual Audacity recorded episode, but crackles a little bit there. Anyways, somebody actually commented on the last podcast and addressed the point, addressed his thoughts anyway on the point Wolf's just made, and he was kind of saying a similar thing, that he doesn't think that the rotator in the Fubeca recent Fubeca race especially, and even sometimes the pit lane, is a good idea because it kind of takes away from the pure racing of it. It takes away from the gaining of speed there, and so I understand that. But on the other side of the coin, if there's none of that types of features, right? If there's none, then it's going to be very repetitive to do 12 or even 8 circuits, and everything just is the gray track, but oh my god, that curve is in a different place this time, or wow, we have a slightly longer straightaway this time. Then it's just going to get boring, because it's like, well, these all look kind of the same. It's, not really that fun to watch anymore. And so it's kind of a balance of like, yes, how authentic do we want to be? How close to Formula 1 do we want to be, or NASCAR or whatever? But also how we have to focus on trying to bring some sort of entertainment value as well. So I would say that features are good. Now, but not always. Like if you put a funnel in the circuit, that to me is a bad idea, because you're really, the momentum of the marbles doesn't matter. You're stopping motion, and that's not good. So it's like, it doesn't even matter which marble's in the lead. You could get to the funnel, and that's not a good idea. Literally the last place marble could win in the last lap, just because, I don't know, they had an easier time at the funnel or something. So that would be a bad idea. But things like a rotator in the middle of a track, or like maybe some felt patches that slow the marbles down if they hit them, or, the speed boost is not a bad idea. That kind of stuff is fine, in my opinion, because it's like, it adds some flavor to the actual circuit. It's like these marbles have to actually, it's not just throwing a bunch of marbles down a track. It's like they have to actually place themselves in the right place on the track to avoid the features, or, use the features, like if it's a speed boost. So it kind of adds like a element of skill to the race, and it keeps it interesting too. I guess it just depends on your preference, but to be honest, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I can agree on Brendan on that, because like if the funnel, yeah, that goes too far, and it definitely messes up the entire thing. I remember we talked a little bit ago. We talked about how the direct ramp that went immediately down at Fubeca's marble runs would just mess up the positions at the start. That's something that can cause a bit of a problem. And the funnel too, it totally messes up the standings, and you're messing with the momentum of the marble. But if you're just like slowing the marble down, or like you're making it have to go around something, or it takes longer to go something around that, that's totally fine.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think, S-Man? So the question that I asked S-Man was like, how do you feel about like obstacles like in marbles, like for biggest marble circuits or the pit lane in Marbula 1? Do you think it's like too much? Like, does it take away from the pureness of the race and adds an obstacle that isn't fair? Or do you feel like it's, I guess, something that really adds nice spice to the race?
Okay.
Spice.
Thought about this, and I like to
Good.
relate it to baseball, where, yeah, most of the time the game is fair, but every once in a while, the umpire is going to make a wrong call. And
True.
that is out of the player's control, and there's nothing they can do about it.
It's true. That's true.
Interesting. And I guess to Brendan's point about repetitiveness, like our editor mentioned in the chat that racing is repetitive. Like the very nature of racing is in and of itself repetitive. Like drag racing is just like running down that strip, and to go back to marbles, 5-meter sprint. It's just the same thing over and over again. And like in NASCAR, it's for the regular stock car series is just going in an oval. And even when it's more varied, like the Xfinity stuff, where it's like multiple different types of turns and right and left, it's still just the same thing for several laps in a row. Like the very nature of racing, as Justin said, is just being repetitive.
But I do agree with S-Man. I like his analogy as far as baseball goes, and actually, you could say that about any sport. Any sport, people the officials will make bad calls, and in the NBA, you could say they purposely do because they want certain teams to win. But that's not for this podcast, all right? I mean, there's in every sport there are weird rules, weird features that you just have to deal with. Like in baseball, there's weird rules. The pitcher has to always be touching the rubber and things like that. There's weird rules. I'd have to actually look them up to get the exact rulings on those. But or even better, actually, to go along with your analogy, a lot of different ballparks have different fence distances, different field shapes, all that kind of stuff, and even different elevations. Like if you play in the Rockies in the Rocky Stadium in Colorado, balls actually travel further on a similar hit because it's thinner air. They're like a mile high in the air or something like that, above sea level. So there are differences in those ballparks, just as there would be differences in circuits for marble racing. I know that Formula One purists are going to look at it and say, hey, no, in Formula One, the cars don't have to go around spinners in the middle of the field. The cars don't have to go into the pit lane by accident, But this is marble sports. And in all honesty, the point of marble sports, if we go back to when it was first made, is to do something a little bit more interesting than taking a bunch of marbles and throwing them down a track. That was boring, and at least in JMR's perspective, and they were like, let's do something a little bit more interesting. So from that perspective, the way I see it is there needs to be some sort of features. I honestly would not. This is why people don't like Sand Rally, by the way, because it is repetitive. Sand Rally consistently gets the least amount of views each year on the JMR channel because it's repetitive. There's other problems with it too, but most of the tracks look generally the same. Like the only way to differentiate the tracks would be to really watch the videos closely, or every once in a while they'll throw like a 1-foot piece of wood on one of the tracks for some reason. So the repetitiveness is what they're trying to get rid of, and so I'm all about putting features on the track, and that's one of Fubeka's goals in his Marble Circuit series. He's like, not only am I going to have a pit lane or maybe change the terrain up a little bit, but I'm actually going to put things on the track. I'm going to use different types of track. He sometimes would use the narrow track, and things like that to really actually change up the features, and which makes it a little bit more interesting. So I think it's necessary to keep viewers interested. There are the F1 purists, but this is not F1. This is Marbula 1. This is Marble Circuits. Different sport, different characteristics necessary to make it both fair for the marbles, but also interesting to watch.
Yeah. For our listeners, Brendan talks in hyperbole a lot. We are aware that people do like San Marble Rally. We know, heck, Greg Woods, like if I remember how he said that, he prefers it to sometimes to Marble League.
Episode 24, by the way. That's when we had him on to.
Brendan just like remembers this stuff. He's like, one day.
Yeah, S-Man, do you have anything that you would like to bring up from Marbula 1?
Not that I haven't said already.
Oh, all right. I just want to give everybody some chances to talk, because we have a lot of guests this time.
Birthday, yeah.
And we have a lot of guests. It's hard to
got
divide
4 people.
the attention.
Let's make sure everybody's talking here. Sorry. Anyway, but I just think it is a good point, and yes, I hyperbolize or whatever it is, but it is true. San Marble Rally only retains a certain group of JMR fans, okay? And
it does.
It is because it's a little bit repetitive. And so, I don't know. I'm all for the features on the tracks, honestly. I just think it spices it up. It really does spice it up. And you know what it does? It actually does serve to make the track more fair. I think it does. Because, consider this, guys. If you didn't have any features, okay, on the track, and you just did this race, and it's just the gray track. There's no pit lane. There's no sand part or whatever it is they've done in the past. They've done a lot of different types of stuff. Then marbles, there's going to be less overtakes. Marbles that are starting in the top 5 will most likely stay in the top 7 for the whole race, just because there's nothing to, there's not much, at least, for the marbles to have reason to slow down. And, because they're all just moving on gravity. They're all just rolling down. It's like an endless hill. So as with the exception of a couple of slight changes on the elevator and, a little bit of contact between the marbles, after a while they're spaced out just by gravity and stuff. And so they're just going to stay where they are. The pit lane, a rotator, slow parts of the track that slow you down, speed you up, those things will serve to actually allow marbles to make more overtakes, which actually makes it more fair, because in all honesty now, marbles who are like, say, 16th in the position starting have an actual they do have a very small chance of getting first. We saw that. We saw like you said, Pulsar started in 10th position, moved up to 2nd. I mean, that's a pretty big jump. 16th to 1st isn't much bigger. So, there's more chances, because the first place racer is not going to just get way out in front and then just stay there because there's nothing to impede him. So I don't know. That's how I think about that.
And I think that's like a main part of how marble sports evolved, because like you can see like way back when marble sports weren't that big, all of them were like Algadoo, like they were just going down a track, like pick your favorite color, and a lot of people weren't into that. And it was only when JMR was able to create San Marble Rally and Marble Olympics was when people really started getting into it, because 1, there were a lot more things that marbles could do and a lot more challenges that they had to face, and 2, there were actually set teams, not just like colors that you could like go to and like pick as your favorite team, either because you like the colors or you just like the model or whatever other reason. And especially for Fubeca, when they're adding a lot of more kinds of styles and obstacles during the track, it makes it more exciting, because like Brendan said, all marbles have like a similar chance of being able to win, instead of just like everything being dictated by what your original spot was when you started the race, which I think is a great way of how marble sports was able to shoot up so high in popularity.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's why people, who, because of the quarantine, can't watch sports. There's no need to buy all the toilet paper, by the way. Are like, they go to marble sports, and because think about it this way, marble racing has been here forever. Okay, there back in 2000 when YouTube was first created, there were people making videos of marbles racing down tracks. But when there were big quarantines or canceled sports events or whatever, everyone didn't just, marble racing didn't make the news, but marble sports does, because it does have those kinds of things. It does have those slight you could say unfairities or just features,
just special
in the track,
quirks that make it attractive.
Yeah, special quirks like marbles doing long jump or rafting that make it different enough that people are like, oh wow, this is like a sport. So I don't know. I would say yeah. I would say, you know what? I'm fine if you take a spinner and put it in the middle of the track. But I don't know. It depends on how crazy you want to get with the features. To me, JMR, the way they're making the tracks, I kind of want to stay away from like putting things on the track and more want to just make the terrains different. On more like like a glorified sand marble rally kind of, as opposed to like Fubica, who actually will put like a spinner on the track, or he'll actually make custom track pieces that have different paths on them, or wide sections that are almost free roll sections, things like that. But I think both of the approaches taken are better than just changing up where the curves are each time, but keeping the same exact track with no new features every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair. Fair.
In my opinion, it's more fun to watch a race that has that kind of stuff than a race that's just a straight track that doesn't change.
I agree. Yeah, but that's why. I mean, are you a fan of Sand Marble Rally, S-Man?
Yes, but I would say it's like my
Voice silence
least favorite of what JMR
No.
uploads.
No. Are you a fan of Sand Marble Rally? I asked.
Yes.
Oh, no, he's kind of cutting out or something. I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. I don't know. I think you said that, but I couldn't hear you or something. Yeah. But is what you said is it's your least favorite? Because I don't know. I couldn't hear you before. Sorry. Cut this part out too, Justin.
Sorry, Justin.
No, it's good. It's good.
That's fine. This part can be left in.
This is 33, about 32, 33. But anyway, we'll just retry that so I can hear you this time. Are you a fan of us? Wow, this is snowballing away.
Stop. No. I will not
Sorry,
let this
cut
happen
out.
again.
That's probably going to be part of the cutout. Okay, restart. S-Man, are you a fan of Sand Marble Rally?
Yes, but it's probably like my least favorite of what JMR uploads.
Why is it your least? Is it your least favorite because of what we were talking about? It's more repetitive, or for other reasons? Because I know I mentioned some other reasons.
It's really repetitive, and like after a while, it just kind of gets boring.
Yeah, I'd say, especially when red number 3 is taking every single race.
Yeah, really.
By the way, it's crazy to me that the viral JMR thing was not red number 3, who had won God knows how many races, but it was just some random racer who actually, besides that particular race, did not actually do very well in Sand Rally. I mean, I don't think Comet finished very high in other races, right? He never won a Sand Marble Rally before, right? No. I don't think. Do we have a stat? Waff, do you know the stats on that?
Stats on what?
Comet.
I can
He's
pull
won
up Comet
races,
stats.
but he hasn't won a championship.
Yeah, that's
Just
what I
elevator
thought.
music plays.
So that's as we wait for Waff. But yeah, but I don't understand. That's crazy that he was the one who went viral. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's just crazy in general that YouTube tweeted them out. But that's just I can't even believe that. That's imagine that. Imagine waking up. You're having a good marble channel. You wake up all of a sudden 100,000 more people just subscribe to you. That must have been crazy.
That would be amazing because I'm really happy for JMR. I don't know if I've said this before. I probably have to other people, but it's just I'm so glad because I feel like it was kind of in the shadow. They had to wait a long time to go viral again, and who would have thought that it would have been a viral outbreak that made marble sports popular? It's just the craziest thing for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Imagine if the virus had not happened with marble, because actually, if this virus had not existed, this wouldn't be happening to JMR. In all honesty, it would not, because
in disguise.
there would be no cancellation of all these sports events and stuff. So there would be no, there would be no viral Twitter for JMR. I mean,
Exactly.
maybe eventually down the line it would happen at some random point, but it
was a whole chain reaction
It's just
that started,
not-
like,
yeah.
first it was the virus, and then, like, all the sports were shut down, and then people were all stuck inside, and all they had to do was just, like, look up fake sports, or just, like, it just happened to go viral. And that's when JMR or Fubeca runs or, like, MSPN or any other Marble sports come up when they're in line to this new kind of sport, and then people just immediately get into it. Because, like, that's, like, pretty much what they have to focus on now for sports.
What are you Sorry, I just cut into your thing, but like Waff just made a stupid comment in the live chat. Can you please
did he?
explain? First of all, say what you just said, and then explain how that even makes any sense. That's not true. How is that true?
All right, so basically, MFA in the chat says that Fubeca's circuits has surpassed JMR's Marbula 1 because it's reinventing marble sports, and I have to completely disagree because he hasn't done anything that has reinvented anything. Like, the marble circuits is basically just the same thing as Marbula 1, so it's not really reinventing anything.
No. That's not what you said. I agree that Fubeca has not reinvented marble sports. I mean, he hasn't done something where
Oh, okay.
this is what you said. You said he hasn't done anything that JMR hasn't done already. That's not true.
Well, if you have unleashed the real Brendan.
And then you said the drag reduction zone that he put in is the same as the hive drive.
Because the hive had would reduce friction and traction because like there was all like the different bumps in it, which is the same thing as the drag resistance.
That's not even true. That's not even how that was not even how the feature worked.
Yes, yeah. You removed like the normal track from half the track, and that added friction, which made made marbles go slow on part.
But the hive drive was just a bunch of gravitrax. It wasn't a half and half situation, and it actually made marbles faster through that situation. So I mean, I don't agree that they're the same. And also JMR hasn't put any features like a spinner on the track. No, I don't think Fubeca has reinvented marble sports, but to say that he's only done things that JMR has already done, almost bordering on the copying from a previous episode.
Wait, I will say
no,
he's
I
done.
don't agree.
I forgot he did do the rain thing. He's done things that are unique within the marble circuits, but not enough to where I'd say that it's completely surpasses everything they've ever done.
I guess. I would say JMR is doing a better job right now, but I'm not going to say that Fubeca hasn't had some ideas that were at least his own, and if in a better in a better video quality would actually be just as cool. I don't know, but I he hasn't copied everything, which is what some people have said.
Okay, anyways, back to the main topic. I do have Comet stats here for us to talk about. So Comet has 1 victory and 2 podium placements in their career since 2016, and they have made it past the qualifiers every single year. However, they have never done well, really. They got 20th in 2016, which is, as far as correctly, is literally the bottom. In 2017, they got 19th. 2018, they got 11th. And then 2019, they got 10th. So they improved for each year, especially between 2017 and 2018. Like, that was a big jump in their performance. But they haven't really done anything that's really that impressive.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I think it just happened to be that the race that went viral. So people are like, oh, Comet, yeah. But as far as marble sports lore goes, Comet isn't a Sand Marble Rally competitor to get all excited about. I guess, I don't know. But anyways, before we move to trivia, if anyone doesn't have any more topics, one of our live chatters from the YouTube said, what if me, meaning himself, you, meaning me, I guess, Fubeca, and Gel teamed up and made a Marble Sports PC or mobile game? Okay,
what would that look like?
First of all, everybody can laugh because they know that would be very. Yeah, so just coming off the back of talking about Gel and Fubeca and the whole copying tension. That would be no, yeah. I have plans for that. Obviously, not with those groups of people all working together because that's not really possible.
The biggest
That's a very
problem
weird group
would
of people
be
to be working together. a random YouTube channel, our podcast channel, the two biggest Marble Sports channels somehow for some reason come together to make a video game together.
a big problem
Listen,
would be
they are
if you
go-
were
they are-
to add
no, listen,
the attenuator
listen,
or
those two
any
channels-
obstacles.
Those two channels will do something together at some point. I know that will happen eventually.
Brendan's just
A
telling
video
the
game would be
future
cool.
right now.
I will say that a video game would be cool, but I don't know if we would be involved with it at all.
Like 6 months.
No, actually, I do have plans for video game. I'm not going to reveal. I can't reveal any more than that because nothing's really set in stone. But I do have plans. None of the people you mentioned is who I'm planning on working with for this. But and I'm actually throwing around ideas for an open world marble sports game, like a marble.
Just like
Marble
No Man's
Legacy
Sky,
type
but with
game.
marbles.
So I've never played that, but yes, of course.
MMORPG
And
with
so
marbles.
how I imagine it, yeah, like an RPG. So you would have a character. You would be a place where you could walk around and talk to other marbles. It kind of be like an online world.
I would
where you
love
could walk around
that.
and talk to other people.
Please make it happen.
It would be
do
a
whatever
huge
you can.
game. But and maybe what I would
I'm
like to
down
do.
as long as it's free.
Ooh.
Then you'd have to have a lot of microtransactions, my guy.
No, but if I
just becomes EA.
if I did proceed with this, I would do something like it would have a couple parts to it. It would have an aspect that would be a story mode single player, where you would, I don't know if it would be like a dialogue based
Like a
Marble Sports game or
campaign?
more of like an action based thing.
I hope there's a
But you would
campaign.
kind of you would build up your skills, compete in a Marble League, Marble Olympics, some sand rallies, do whatever you want there. And then it would be an aspect where you have this whole community where you can be a marble, customize your marble, put little, I don't know
like
how you
streaks
customize
through
marble
it,
besides
like
changing the
sparkles,
colors.
whatever. There needs to be
But
like a
you
creative
do
mode where you
that-
can create your own tracks.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
neat.
exactly like that. Like and then you can roll around. Well, pun. And then you can, you could like talk to other people online and challenge them to a race, challenge them to a rafting thing or surfing or whatever. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. Like you would be able to do pretty much anything, and like you could create a league and a team and all that stuff. Like, sorry, I'm getting a little choked up here, but it would just be that kind of open world, do whatever you want kind of game.
I just imagine
So-
like Brendan being like insulted with the limers, and he's like, "You want to go, dude?" He just like races their marbles.
Yeah, dude, challenge me in online sand rally race course 5 now, okay?
Oh, since Slimer's have been brought up, that last lap. That last lap.
Dude,
What happened?
Just like a sad harmonica in the
What
background.
happened there? I know. I wish you guys didn't bring it up, man. Because you guys know that I'm a Limers guy, but
Brendan,
oh man,
because
like
he stopped.
They were doing so well,
the
like the
fantasy
beginning.
league.
Like through the beginning of like
So
all the
how- wait,
races,
how
they
did
were
he
doing
win at
pretty
the end?
well.
He was-
But then like the last lap
Esme
here.
was trying to say something.
Oh.
Let's let Esme talk.
Because Sublime stopped on the track, I lost to Brendan in the fantasy league.
Oh, that sucks.
oh, you picked the Limers from the fantasy league?
Oof.
I had you
Yo,
had
last,
the limers.
I was third in the
Yeah.
fantasy league, and then this track came, and I just like dropped down to 24. But that's okay because now I have 420 points.
Oh, and, dude, in the Marvel-based fantasy, I'm literally dead last.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I got 420
it's sad.
points.
It's a sad day.
I mean, that's what you get for picking Momo.
No, Momo was doing actually made points for the last two races.
Momo was
My
doing
other
pretty
team's
good.
Mimo
been
did
failing
well.
me.
Mimo finished where in short
Sixth.
circuit? Finished actually decently, and I saw Mimo was up at like third for a half a second. I was like, wow, what
Great
team
run at
Momo?
the end.
This is really
Yeah.
really weird.
This is weird.
But but yeah, like I don't know what actually like happened. Like, was he knocked off the course or something, or just stuck? Or
He just
didn't move?
stopped.
Just stopped rolling.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Midnight Wisps, except Midnight Wisps were knocked forward
Yeah, I think Midnight Whisper
in
like
a
stuck.
later lap.
I think.
No. They just stopped down on the course after careening off the
Conveyor belt.
elevator, but in the next lap, I think the Savage Speeders or something
They
pushed
helped
them
them.
forward. Yeah, and then
It was
they
a very
they
wholesome moment
reinstated.
for marbles. A very wholesome moment.
Mima got 7th this race. It was last race that Momo got 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, still pretty good.
Like,
And again,
Momo's not
my
doing
other
too bad
teammates
right
didn't.
now.
Like, I had Galactic, Raspberry Racers, the Hornets, and the Green Ducks.
Oof, Raspberry
Green Ducks and Momo
Racers.
were the only ones who got me points this time. So it's not Momo's fault. It's the other team's fault for not pulling their weight.
Yeah, because I put Raspberry Racers in my fantasy league, but they haven't been doing too well so far, and I'm getting scared because I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
I don't know. They just haven't been. They haven't been really the Marbula 1 type of team. Like, I know their name is like Raspberry Racer, but
They ain't
they're
bringing the
They're more,
race.
they're more of a Marble League team. Like, they do better with the events. When it comes to racing and that pack of marbles, not really their type of game. Honestly, like they just.
I can see them easily getting
Yeah,
overwhelmed
they've been.
just
I
because
haven't
of
even
how
seen them
so
at
many
the top
marbles
at
there are.
all.
All right, well, I think we talked Marbula 1 to death, so why don't we move on to the trivia segment?
Let's
Hey.
Savage Speed our way to the trivia segment. Yeah.
Now it's time for the trivia segment. Come on now, let's go, go, go.
Go, go, go.
All right.
Yes. So, S-Man, you have been...
He didn't get angry. He held back the anger.
Oh yeah.
S-Man, you have been, I think, a big part of our trivia segment, sending us stuff, so why don't you start us off tonight?
Okay. All right. Let's do it. All right. My question. What team placed 8th in the 2017 Marble Olympics?
What?
Wait, which team placed 7th?
I don't know.
8th.
Wait, what was his
In
question? He cut
2017.
out.
He very wow. He very clearly said 8th. Man.
Well, 17 and 8. It ended with 7 and
8th
8, alright?
in
Okay.
2017.
Oh, just
Wait, what was his
auditory
question?
dyslexia.
He cut out for
What?
me.
What
Oh.
team placed 8th in the 2017 Marble Olympics?
Okay,
How would I know? How would I ever know?
And
that?
I do
have
have
no
a
idea.
couple of hints set up for you
I don't know.
if you want them.
I'll just like
I'm
hitch
glad
a
you
ride
had
on
the
one of
hints.
your
Go
answers.
Reveal hint 1.
Okay, here's one of the hints. This is this team's best performance in all of the Marble Olympics they have competed in.
Pinkies.
but I think you cut out the last bit that you're trying to say.
He said this team's best. This particular finish was this particular team's best performance ever in all Marble Olympics so far.
Oh, that's what you were saying? That's what
I
you
don't
said?
know.
Yes.
I'm
so
just
this
going
team
with
is
the
their
line.
best
I would say Pinkies.
Snowballs. Who knows?
I would say Pinkies, or I would say it's not Limers. Limers had I think it finished a little bit better one time. I would say Pinkies. Oh, I had it in my head. Pinkies are like balls of chaos. I would say Pinkies are.
I'm just gonna go with balls of chaos.
Waff?
Big decision, Waff.
You said you had a couple. You said you had a couple hints.
Yeah, a couple hints.
Wow.
I mean, I guess I'll take that last hint. Why not?
This team.
Well, then throw in that last hint.
This team earned their one and only gold medal in this year.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
But they won only one gold medal in the 2019 Marble Olympics?
2017.
Or in Marbula 1?
2017.
Oh, in 2017. Oh, wow.
And it's the
They're-
only gold
they're-
medal they've ever won.
This is their only
What's
gold
up,
medal.
Daniel? Welcome to the live stream. We're talking, we're doing the trivia segment because we're, what are we at? Like 45, 50 minutes in. So the question is, to involve you as well, what team finished 8th in the Marble Olympics in the 2017 Marble Olympics? And the hints given, we do the hints sometimes, is first off, this is this particular team's best performance over all Marble Olympics they've ever competed in, and they only won one gold medal in the 2017 Marble Olympics. So I guess you can, if you have a guess, you can
Man,
comment it.
I have no idea.
That's their only gold medal.
That's really hard.
My guess is still stick with Pinkies or Balls of Chaos.
I'm gonna
honestly,
go with
just
balls of
because-
chaos.
Yeah.
just because I didn't see them too much 2017.
I mean, that's
I love how people
that's,
enjoy this part of the podcast, but we just scramble thinking of answers.
that's a good guess. I can't think of anything better, but I guess if I had to say something, it would be. I want to say something different than Balls of Chaos, but like I don't have anything else I could say.
The only thing else I could think of would be Jungle Jumpers, but I don't think they joined in 2018.
No, Jungle Jumpers were garbage that year.
To me, I'm trying to think of like lesser teams that I didn't really focus on that weren't in like the top 5, and then like pick from those.
Jumpers
and it's really hard.
2018.
Daniel put in Oceanics, so we can see if that one works.
No, Oceanics did decent in 2018.
Oceanics did a pretty good run until like 2019.
So I would say the best team to pick for this option would be
Momo.
No, Momo's best year was 2016. You ding dong.
You would know that, Momo fan. Hashtag Momo strong.
Hashtag Momo strong. Okay. Shoot. I guess I got. Okay, I'm
Waff is taking a while. You're not looking it up, are
Balls
you?
of Chaos.
Waff does not know this.
Balls of Chaos. Like we gotta move along. We gotta move along. Balls of Chaos.
All right.
God. What is it? Is it
You
Balls
guys
of Chaos?
are killing me over here.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Wait.
first off-
no, just go Balls of Chaos. Just stop. I gotta stop.
Okay, first off, before I reveal the answer, I just want to say that the Balls of Chaos did not compete in the 2017
God
Marvel
damn.
Olympics.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Really? Do they not qualify, or did they just
They
not
didn't
start
Just
till
didn't qualify.
2018?
I didn't see
They
that.
didn't qualify.
No way. Totally.
So my last thread of hope is the Pinkies.
It is not the Pinkies.
I guess I'll go with Piney's guess. Chocolatiers.
It is
Oh,
the
yeah.
Chocolatiers.
Oh my
I
gosh!
always forget about the Chocolatiers. I really always do.
Congratulations, Piney. You have won this trivia question.
Good job.
Wow,
You
that
guys
was
are
a tough
killing
one
me,
though.
though. Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
Dude, the
That's fine. We were
Chocolatiers is
horrible.
honestly like the most forgettable team in the Marble Olympics.
How could
They
we
probably-
not know that?
That's not true.
How dare we?
I mean, we are the
The
podcast
most-
people, but
The most
still.
forgettable
Okay.
team. The most forgettable team in the Marble League.
All right, Waff, do you
is the
have a
Golden
trivia
Gophers.
question for us?
Yes, and mine's special. It's basically this question. Like whoever gets closest is what I would consider to be the winner. And if you get it exactly right, then you'll be like my favorite person for the night.
I'm going to tell
So,
you
for
what.
the
If
night.
you ask where your marble
night.
is in the stands, I'm quitting this podcast.
My marble's not in the stands for Marbula 1, you ding dong.
Good.
That's so mean. How could you?
No.
Ding
but
dong.
he asked that as a question and like stood by the validity of that question in like what was it episode 20 something.
Okay.
That was funny though.
Well, yes. Anyways, so in race 6 of Marbula 1, who was the marble that got the fastest lap, and what was the time for that lap?
Oh,
I know who got it, but
was
I don't know what the
race
time
6 was the
That's why I said whoever gets
short
closest.
circuit, right?
Oh, the O'Rangers got it. It was
O'Rangers
I know.
got it.
Yeah, I know
was
the
coming
Rangers
in.
got it. I'm gonna guess 22.
I'm
22
gonna say
seconds.
that the time. I'm
Oh,
going
no,
to-
it wouldn't be that quick. I would go 26th.
Ooh.
Sorry,
So-
I said sixth, like sixth.
I
And
was
then
gonna go
sixth.
with.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go with 20.
So
Wow.
20 is for S-Man, 22 for Wolves, and then 26 for
Sixth.
Brendan. Is that correct?
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. The answer is 22.1. Congrats, Wolves.
I had.
Wow.
I was
That's
gonna
fast,
say
by the way.
22, but I didn't want to say the same thing as
Yay,
Wolves.
luck.
Wow.
Yeah. Congrats, man. That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
So, am I your favorite person for the night?
Yes, you're not my favorite person for. Well, that's if you got it exactly right.
Oh, come on, dude.
But you are my okay. But to be fair, like you were so
was
close to
one
yes,
of
you're
my
still my favorite person for tonight.
Ah, shucks.
I'm glad for this cute moment. Anyway, Wolves, what's your trivia question?
I have a Fubeka marble question.
Ooh.
Oh wow, we're switching leagues there.
So, for this most recent race, which marble had the highest jump in position, starting from the start of the race to the end?
Mamonas. Flat out, I know this Mamonas.
I feel like it's not fair because he commentates for Becca.
Okay, then we can add.
I actually don't-
How many
Then again,
spots
Greg,
did they
Greg
jump?
Woods like just because he commentates.
Yeah, he
it.
didn't know. He didn't know any of the trivia when we did it. It was funny.
That's fair. Okay, fair.
So I'll add. How many
Uh,
spots did that marble jump?
Momonas, and it was
This is your chance, Waff.
6 spots.
Six
in
spots?
Momonas.
I'm gonna say,
Did you watch it?
yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about the circuits after the trivia segment because of something interesting I saw. But let's see here. The biggest jump, I want to say it was.
Okay, well, I'm
Girl-
getting answers since WAF is taking so long.
Okay, you go ahead. Yes,
Okay.
So, I'm gonna say it was Gold Piston with like 4.
Mm.
All right, do you all have your answers?
I was really gonna say Gold Piston too, but I thought Gold Piston was further back than that. I think Arrow Frogs was 10.
Aerofrog, you're right. Aerofrog.
Arrow
jumped quite a
Frogs
bit.
went from 10th to
I'm
3rd.
sticking with Momonas though.
So Arrow Frogs went up 7 places, I think. That's my guess.
All right. So it was Momonas, and Momonas jumped 9 places.
Darn.
A whole 9 positions, which is crazy
Cut
to
out,
me.
but what is? How many positions was it?
9.
9. Wow.
Dang.
So 2 to 11th he started in? Oh, I thought he started in 8th.
Didn't Aaron?
Oh yeah, he started way back, like right next to Loose Wheel, I think.
Well,
Loose Wheel. That's such a weird name. Sorry. No, that's a good question. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, we're kind of combining the leagues there.
Combining the leagues. Gotta add some variety.
Well, anyways, I guess it's my trivia question turn.
Indeed it is.
Unfortunately, for the first time in about 20 weeks, I have not been sent a trivia question. So I'm going to try to concoct one here. Great word. Attenuator. That's the word of the day.
Yeah, that's
the word
our
of the podcast,
that's our
everybody.
meme now. Just
Attenuator.
attenuator. Like we're just gonna say it like with no context, and just new viewers are gonna be like, "What are they talking about?"
I mean, isn't that what they always say? Isn't that what every viewer says when they listen to the show, though? I mean, come on, man. We're talking about
That
marbles.
I will not argue with
the
that.
motorway. What? So I'm gonna try to snowball my way through this trivia segment.
you
because
used the
I'm
snowball
sorry.
joke like 3 times this episode,
Yeah,
and
I
you've
know,
done it
sorry.
several times in the past episodes.
I don't have
It's gonna
any
be bad puns.
I
At
don't
least
have
be
any
original,
energy
please.
left to like
I'm begging you.
ridicule Brendan anymore. I'm just like out
All
of
right,
it.
I'm gonna glide like a gliding glacier then.
Brendan, you like actually need to stop with these puns though. Otherwise, you're gonna turn WAF into a minty maniac.
I'm gonna create chaos in your Discord server like
Oh,
anarchy.
please, S-Man, not you too. Not you too.
No,
Dude, I should.
Waff, we are the last
good.
survivors. Everyone else is an enemy now. We have to
Wait,
stick
The wolves
together.
are
Wait,
together, and we will fight against the puns.
If we kicked WAF off together, then the 3 of us left would be the 3 chocolatiers.
No. No.
Oh, that was bad. That was just
Sorry.
that was
Yeah,
sad.
I'm-
But that
I'm-
is my
sad.
favorite
Listen,
candy,
there's
so
not
I will
many
give you an
there's not many
honorable
teams
mention
left
for that.
to do this with. Okay, thanks. I'll take the honorable mention. I mean, listen. Anyway, trivia question. Okay.
What have you formulated while we were
let's-
ridiculing you
let's-
about your
let's
puns?
get
Oh,
back
here's a
to the
great
primary.
Yeah,
trivia
we're
question
an
that,
hour
like-
in. We need to actually hurry up.
Yeah. Well, here's a real quick one. Just on the off chance that some of you guys don't remember this, but who is the JMR sponsor?
Oh,
SeatGeek.
Bulk Dominoes. Final answer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That I think that
Wait.
goes over a lot of people. Yeah.
Wait, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Who is the JMR sponsor?
Bulk Dominoes.
Bulk Dominoes.
Duh.
Hey, that's all I got, buddy. No one sent me a question. Hey.
All right, that was the
gonna-
saddest ending to a trivia
my
segment I've
God.
ever seen.
Brendan, we
Who
were
is the-
disappointed in you. That did get me on
Alright,
my
okay,
toes,
let's-
though. I'm glad I was able to
And
remember.
here's the outro for the trivia segment.
That was the trivia segment. Now let's head back to the show. The show. Oh,
And we're
Which
back to the show.
Is edited in,
Show.
I guess.
Oh.
Anyway, guys, that's the podcast for today, everybody.
Thank you
We're
for
cresting
coming.
an hour here. I hope you enjoyed this one. A little bit shakier than usual because we had 4 people on instead of 3, but we had to give homage to Sman's birthday, who has just been an integral part of this community and MSW. So
Wait, we didn't even sing
shout
happy
out to
birthday to
him.
We have to sing happy birthday.
Okay, that's how we'll end this one. All right, ready?
Oh, that's what.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
I'll count us off.
First. Go follow marble.league.facts on Instagram.
Indeed. Oh, actually, one more thing before we sing happy birthday to S-Man, who is, by the way, 17 now.
16.
16.
I thought you were 17. I thought you were 16 before.
Nope.
Well, silence now. So.
Well, you said you wanted to say something, right, Brendan?
No, yeah, but I thought it was. I'm asking him what his age is.
Oh, well,
what he
okay,
turned.
anyways, okay, Espen, now you can say what you wanted to say.
No, I want him to tell me what age he's turning.
What?
Which is not happening for some reason.
16. He's turning 16.
Sweet
Oh, I
16.
thought it was 7. Dude, you said you were 16 to me like a few weeks ago, though.
He just
Yeah,
like
that's
rounded
just
it up.
'cause it was close to my birthday. That
Oh, you just rounded up. You rounded it up, bro. Like, dude, if they rounded up things in marble sports, then all the teams would win. So that you got to be.
That's like
careful.
saying when you're like 5'11", like, yeah, I'm 6 foot. No, you're 5'11".
Dude, if we just rounded up the team Momo, I mean, maybe they would actually have one victory. Sorry. Anyways,
We're getting off track.
one thing I do want to ask,
Espen, what do you want to say?
S-Man, what are your thoughts on the whole podcast as a whole? Like, how is it? Because you've been listening since one of the very first episodes, way back in episode 1, and so I just want to get your opinion. How was the whole progression of the podcast? The whole, like, what was the experience like for you from the listeners' end, from 1 to 41?
Well, at the start, there were obviously like some problems, but it did end up getting a lot better. And as soon as I joined the Discord, like, it just got so amazing, and I'm really glad I can be a part of that.
I'm very happy that you tune in every week to listen to us.
He's an OG.
Ramble.
He's the real MVP.
Of course.
Yeah, but yeah, it has truly been an awesome journey. And if it wasn't for all you guys here in the live chat right now, we wouldn't be able to do this every single week. Live chat says, at least from the YouTube, we want more Greg Woods. Well, we'll try to get him back on at some point, maybe in the future. Maybe episode 75 or something, like as a special. But anyways,
Espen wanted to say something though. Didn't you?
Greg Woods merch. Sorry, I'm looking at the live chat here.
What?
Yeah, that would be sick.
No?
Sorry, I was trying to make sure everybody gets to say that. Like, Espen, you wanted to say something earlier before you got interrupted.
Well, if you were really pushing this comment.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I
go
guess.
follow marble.league.facts on Instagram. I already said
Okay.
that, but
Okay.
Go follow
well,
it. I guess you just wanted him to plug his Instagram again.
I guess. I did want to say something that I can't believe I forgot to say in the intro. So, was it? No, it wasn't last week. It was 3 days ago as of recording this. This is March 23rd. March 20th was the 1 year anniversary of the first episode's upload. So our podcast is now a year old. Over a year old.
Oh
now.
yeah, the 20th was. I posted about that a day late though, because well, as the podcast always starts late, we are late on the posts.
Yes.
Yeah, that it's crazy anniversary, man. This like 3 days ago, and then 1 year ago, I came up into the room I am in right now. I took my phone, Anchor Podcast app, and my headphone, and I sat down and I talked for an hour. I mentioned the Green Ducks. I know I was talking about the Green Ducks because I was really excited about their how they were going to do in the Marble League. And I just talked for an hour. I had 3 pages of notes because I wasn't confident enough to do a podcast just, without a lot of notes. I was like, what am I going to say for an hour? I don't know. But now I'm like, are we ever going to end on time?
Even today,
you know what I'm saying? So,
nothing is organized.
No, but and by the way, guys, if you want this to be more organized, or you want there to be more segments, you want it to be like that kind of podcast, comment your opinion, and we can work on that. I just was always under the impression, especially for something like Marble Sports, in which it's not it's not like we're talking about world hunger where like, you know, there's always like a 50,000 stories to discuss. We kind of just let it flow, right? And it doesn't need to be too structured, because it's kind of just not a ton of stuff is happening, but enough stuff is happening that we can kind of have a casual conversation for an hour and it'd be exciting. So if you want it to be more segmented, if you want to see more segments, like little we do the trivia segment, maybe you want to see like a overrated, underrated segment, or like I don't know, can't think of any more right now segment. Just, you know, comment, message us so maybe we can work on something like that. But we definitely, man, it's been quite a journey. But anyways, let's end this thing by singing a happy birthday to S-Man, all right?
Yes, I'll cut us off. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear S-Man.
My favorite fan of the MSW podcast.
Happy birthday to you. Jazz hands.
All right, everybody, that's the end of the podcast. Let's raspberry race and savage speed and snowball away out of here. We'll see you next week for episode 42. Thanks for listening in.